Okay, good morning, guys. Hope you're all doing good. Uh, we went through a couple of tests in the month of November and December, which was obviously regards to insurance, and we have received few feedbacks and your scores. Based on that, we have decided to start with certain training for everybody, so that you guys know the product, you guys get the product knowledge and what we actually doing. Okay. The first topic what we have chosen for this training session will be the SME business, which is a small business insurance, which is easy to sell, which could be also a cross sell for people who are dealing in medical department, general department, motor department. Okay, because the reason we are doing this, one of the key reasons, because it's a easy money and we have a good commission in this. Plus, everybody needs a SME product. Whoever has an office, out of 100 clients, I guess 99% of them will, 99 will, clients will definitely have an office, and out of 101 will be probably working from home. Okay, so what we're gonna go today in brief, which will be what can be covered under the small business. As we can see, we can cover the office just like how our office, Petro Insurance Broker. Then you have offices, which is next to us, lawyers. These are offices risk. Technically, this is all comes under property insurance, but it is subcategorized into different types based on the risk, because in certain risk, if you can see office risk, the chances of claim is very less, though when it comes at times it could be a damage to an office because of water leakage and stuff, could be a huge loss. However, risk here is very less, and when it comes to office insurance, so accordingly we have a pre-designed product for this kind of insurance, or a quick quotes we can get through a portal. We don't need a manual underwriter to design a policy for us. We mostly have a pre-designed policy for a small business insurance. That's what makes it more exciting and more easy for everyone to sell this product, right? Then other thing is coffee houses, food courts, ice cream parlor, juice bars, restaurants, sandwich bar, takeaway, spas, barber shops, beauty shops, massage center. All this will come under small business insurance, including college weekend court, university library, under small business insurance. There is a certain limit with regards to sum insured. It has to be less than 35 million. If it is over 35 million, then it can be in the policy will be written as manually. So there needs to be a manual underwriter who needs to look at it, have a look at the risk, then they will write it. Okay, anything less than 35 million can be quoted under small business insurance. We preferably deal with RSA, AIG, Tokyo Marine, Orient UNB as well, plus Oman for this kind of risk, because except Orient UNB, all this international provider and Oman has a pre-designed product for small business insurance. Plus there is Noor Takaful, who also got a pre-designed product. If you ever speak to a client who says that I'm looking for an individual medical insurance under a company name, then it, or they're saying that I need a motor insurance, of course they are working somewhere or they have an office, so this could be a good cross sell for you guys. In this cross sell also there is a lot of upsell, which we will get in details shortly, what you can actually upsell in this product as well. Okay, the next one is what can be covered. Again, you have clinics, hospitals, medical laboratories, nursing homes, pharmacy. You can also cover residential building plus commercial building as well. Not all the commercial building you can cover, like towers you cannot cover under this. There is a separate policy called strata for that, because strata obviously for the tower specially designed product. What we see in commercial building, let's say there is an office taken by you worth 1.2 million, you own that office, and those kind of buildings, those kind of parts can be covered on the policy. Any kind of retail stores, retail stops can be covered, which is in the Dubai Mall, Mall of the Emirates, any malls in Abu Dhabi. We've got few clients who we have insured as well. These can be stores, can be these kind of stores can be covered as well. Okay. Now under this product, what you really can't cover is warehouse risk and a factory risk, mostly because it is a different type of risk when it's come to property insurance. It is not a small business. There are a lot of manufacturing done on the warehouses or factories. There are stocks, certain number of stocks, stored at the factories, which is hazardous as well, which possibly could lead to claims in the future. And when there is a claim, there's always a massive claim when it comes to warehouse or factory insurance. So it is all depends on the way you analyze the risk and where the policies are written. Basically, obviously a small business cannot be given for warehouse risk. If in case, let's say the client says I have a warehouse plus office, we always prefer to quote them under property all risk, not under any of the package policy which is available. Okay. Please keep this in mind. If the client says my office is in one of the factories, do not give them the offer them any of these product. They need to take a property insurance under this. Probably they get a property all risk covered for the warehouse plus the office. However, having said that, if they have a different location, which is one is totally a separate warehouse located in, let's say, Ajman, but they have an office in Business Bay. In that case, for the Business Bay, you can obviously offer the office insurance. Okay, you don't have to, or they can even include it in the same property all risk for instead of having two different policies. It is completely up to client choice. Next stage will be what kind of risk can be covered under this office insurance. So obviously the building, any structures to the building can be covered by the landlord if you're taking, or by the tenant. For building will be for the landlord. Tenant, it cannot be covered. I'll come back to you how we can cover tenants part of it. Contents such as furniture, fixtures, and fittings, this can be covered as well. Anything related to furnitures with owners are put, they can take it for under their policy. Or if, as let's say you are a tenant and you want to put any kind of fittings, you want to put in furniture to make it look fancy, you can obviously get that covered on this policy. Portable equipments such as your cell phone, tablets, laptops, which we all using. I still remember that we have settled certain claims for Julia's client for the tablets, I think, and a couple of phones as well. So this is where you actually need to convince the client, because these small covers, the clients, they do really need it. Loss of rent, let's say as your owner, there's a damage to a property and you have rented out. If obviously there is no, let's say if there is a fire in the building and you are losing out as an owner on rent, this can be claimed on the policy for certain period. Period can be decided as well. It can be 12 months minimum, or 6 months. It could be, it's up to you guys how you want to chase it. But when it's a standard policy, you can always go for a 12 months, right? Plus, as a tenant, let's say now you damage landlord's property, and there also you can cover. AIG policy does cover this as a tenant. If you're looking to you lose out on the rent because you're paying out the client, but however you're still not in the premises because the premises has been damaged and you're not able to work there. At that point of time also you can cover it. Okay. You can also cover business interruption / loss of profit. Same example. I would like to give one example here. We had a client who had a kind of a massage center, and there was a massive damage to them. It was again water damage, due to which they couldn't operate almost for 4 to 6 months. And we did cover the damage to the property, which was worth 75,000 plus during that time whatever the losses they incurred, because obviously couldn't afford to run the business and the premises, so they faced certain losses. That was covered as well, um, because of the damage to the property. Yeah. Now a lot of people are questioning about coronavirus. People didn't work from office, they have faced losses. Certain policies before it used to cover, which were already existed in the policy, but right now after the coronavirus, the insurance companies are very strict and they have put up a exclusion, specific exclusion on the policy, where these kind of interruption are not covered on the policy anymore. Another part is public liability policy. As you all know, it's a normal term. What it covers, of course, everybody knows. It's just like a third-party insurance, third-party liability insurance. Any damage to a third party can be covered under this policy. You can always include workman compensation and employer's liability, which is the added benefit for you. And this all comes under the package. This will obviously cover you any injuries to your employees, plus you can claim their medical expenses. If they're not coming to work, you can claim their salaries. If there is a death, it can be covered on the policy as well. But this will only cover any works related injuries only, which is not covered under the medical insurance. Okay. Personal accident cover, it is an added top-up cover which you can take on the small business insurance. This will cover your accident not just inside the office, outside as well. This is up to a certain limit. You can take 25,000, 50,000, 100,000, 150,000. It's up to you how much you want to take. Employees dishonesty cover, this is another added benefit on a small business policy. Obviously it can cover the theft, fraudulent activity. What is not covered under employee dishonesty is the errors and omission. Any loss because of errors and omission is not covered. However, if employee, let's say we have a messenger who stores money, that can be covered on the policy as well. Okay. Money insurance, under money there are certain extension as well, like cash in transit, cash in safe. The money what we keep in cash in transit means, let's say we give 50,000 to Taj and he's taking the money to bank. At that point of time something happens to him, money gets stolen, those things can be covered on the money insurance. And equipment breakdown, any breakdown to machines which is operated within the office, small break, any technical faults can be covered as well. Again, it will depend on the policy wording. Not all the breakdowns can be covered. We can, you don't really need to go through this in details. You just need to know what exactly it is. Now, what I want to tell you is every particular type of business here, as you can see, this has a different types. Now, office risk is completely different. Restaurant risk is completely different. A store risk, a retail store risk is completely different. So each of them have a different policy wording. They're not all the same policy wording. They have a different policy wording because from an office, the risk is very less. If you compare to a restaurant, the risk is very high. Let's say an employee is cooking, he can injure himself, he can cut himself while working. Also, there might be a case of food poisoning, which can be covered under the liability policies. So there's certain extension you need to take based on the type of business what you're writing. If I have a restaurant, I cannot take the insurance under office. It has to be under restaurants policies. If I have a store in a Dubai mall and I need an insurance, or if I have a shop, let's say in Business Bay, I cannot take it under office insurance. It has to go through under each type. Which is available in the system, but do not get confused with it and tell them that they need to have office insurance for a restaurant. They obviously don't need to have it. They need to have a restaurant policies. The policies are designed in such a way that it provides them enough cover where there is a liability, when there is a liability arises. But what you do as a coordinator or an underwriter, you sit and you go through each and every policy wordings before you submit to clients, to make sure the clients are covered in all the possible way and there is no loopholes. Let me go. Okay. So few extensions what we speak, it's self-explanatory. Like I said, these are covered on the policy, which you will have to know. Certain package office policy, if you ask me, with the limit of 1 million liability. I'm just giving you a rough idea with the 100,000 contents, 100,000 loss of rent, and let's say 500,000 of workman compensation could cost just 1,000 dirham. So every client you speak, I'm sure they have an office policy. You have a lot of friends who's got restaurants, who owns restaurant. You can pitch in the restaurant. You might have friends who are working in a retail shop. You can always speak to them about their insurance and tell them that you can give them a good deals. uh, this will be really really helpful only if you see, or if you start looking at the way that, if I have a request for a public liability policy, or if I have a request for a motor insurance, or if I have a request for medical, it's not only about that particular request. We have to see the bigger picture, and one of them will be the small business, because if you just have to count, assume in this particular building how many offices are there, right? So even if we could get a 5 offices, any one of you get one officers from this building, it's going to be good for us. So anybody you speak in the lift, you can tell them you work for Petra Insurance. I'm sure they have their office insurance somewhere. Could you give us a chance to work on this request, on your request, basically? So these are the things what you need to know. I don't think it's too much to know, because it's very very simple and very basic, which you need to know. And like I said, we have a good money in this. For a small policies, we can make up to 20 to 25% commission, which is more than selling a third party insurance and a basic medical insurance. And the premium could also go up to 1,000 to 100,000 as well. Recently we insured one of the offices in DIFC, and the premium was worth 45,000. So it is because of the certain limit requested by the client. We had to do a manual underwriting. However, it was a great deal for us, because office insurance normally maximum we close for 5 to 10,000. However, here we closed it for 45,000, kind of a limit they requested. I think it was a great deal for us, because we had a massive commissions as well. So we always have to look at our profit when we think about these things, and these are the easy sell to make more profit. If you guys have any questions, you can always let us know. I've just put in a few requirements which you need to have. Obviously, we have a small property proposal form which needs to be filled at the time of policy issuance, so that clients can always give us the breakdown of it. And we also come to know that what is the risk, or what type of a risk we are taking. It will have breakdown of what client needs to be insured. If you feel that client is not happy to give you any of the information, you can always come to us. We can just give you a package policy based on our knowledge, based on we will check few things, where the office is located. We'll try to Google it to see if the office is big or small. Based on that, we can always give you a package product, not necessarily that you have to get an information. Then it's up to client if they want to make any changes to it. So if you're really looking to cross sell or upsell any of this product, okay, that's pretty much from us. If you guys have any questions, anything you want to know, please let me know. Or you can always write me an email, or you can walk up to me if you need any clarification. I'm happy to answer now or later as well. Before we finish, obviously we have some poll question as well. Before we could start with the poll question, I would like to know if there is any questions you guys have for me. Okay, guys, thanks for taking your time with the poll. I've got a couple of questions. Let me just go through it. Charles asks, how much does one pre-designed property insurance cost? To be honest, Charles, for property insurance, it depends what kind of property we are talking about. Let's say if it is home insurance building, we are referring to, the rate is somewhere around between 0.3 per mil to, if it is building is cladded, then it might go up. If it is a simple property, let's say villa worth of 1 million, then we are talking about premium of 300 to 500 dirham. There is no pre-designed property except for commercial risk, unless it's under obviously office insurance, you want to cover it, and other product you want to take it out. If it is like a commercial risk, let's say for a building or a tower, there is no pre-designed product as such. There's always a manual underwriting required, because we have to analyze other risk as well. If it is just a building risk, or if it is just a property for a villa or a home insurance, yeah, it might be for a, like I said, for a 1 million, premium might be between 300 to 500 dirham. Minimum is 300 dirham, to be honest. Okay, and I hope I answered your questions. Another one is the difference between WMC. I think this is from Julia. I'm guessing she's referring to WC, which is workman compensation, and personal accident cover. It's a good question. So personal accident cover covers you your accidents, incidents outside work as well. Let's say now, for an example, it depends. We can even include worldwide as well. Just to give you an example, when there was a trip, I think the life team and the management went. Mr. Aranki in Italy, he slipped down because of the rain, and he had injured his leg. So this comes under a personal accident cover. We got it claimed under this. Again, for medical expenses, certain limit is there. It could vary from 10,000 to 50,000 as well. Plus, we can add repatriation cover. Workman compensation is here also you have medical expense and repatriation cover. It could vary from 10,000 to 50,000, but this is covering the work-related injury only. It doesn't cover any other related. When you're doing work, if something happens to you, that is covered under workman compensation policy. So that's a key difference between personal accident and workman compensation policy. Muniba asks why there is a limit of sum insured value of 35 million, and what happens if the client exceeds this value. To be honest, it is not 35 million from every insurance company. Mostly we place our business with AIG, and this is the limit they have put for a package policy, or a system design policy, you can say, where we can get instant quote. So up to 35 million sum insured, we can get a quote from the system without referring to underwriters. So if it exceeds, then we are not saying that we cannot deal. Obviously, we would require manual underwriting. So accordingly, we will send it to a particular department who can handle this request, because different company has a different limit. RSA might have a limit of 20 or 50. Tokyo Marine might have a limit of 50 million as well. So it depends on different insurance company, but mostly we place business with AIG for these kind of risks. So their limit is 35 million of sum insured. Another question is from Awais. I am not really sure what he wrote, but it's what turnover of a client consider as SME. I don't really say that we will place the policy on a turnover basis. To be honest, we are going to place the policy on a risk basis. So the SME product is if it is office risk, or a shop risk, or a cafe risk, or restaurant risk. So no matter what the turnover is, based on the total sum insured, like I said, every insurance company has their own product. Every insurance company has their own product with certain limits. Based on that, we will consider where we can place it. So turnover is one of the key factors to write the policies, but it doesn't really justify if
office insurer has a 10 million, I can write that under a retail policy. I cannot. So we look at what type of business they're doing when it comes to small business. Based on that, we place the policy. Like I said from the beginning, you cannot place an office insurance. Something like Petra, we cannot place this under a retail shop because this is not a retail shop. It's an office, purely office-based risk. If it is a shop which is in a Dubai mall, you cannot say that as an office. It is a retail shop. So based on that, we place the risk. Any other questions? Is there any risk that can be covered in two policies? If yes, can we claim for it under both the policies? Like I said, personal accident policies can be, taken at times. You might have your own individual personal accident you have taken for yourself, and then you have it in your office insurance. It is highly recommended to go, if you already have a personal accident, we don't really recommend you to take it another one. It's going to be a waste. However, if the insurance company comes to know when there is a claim, they will come to an agreement to pay half of claim, or they just might push it to one insurance company to play it. As you know, dual insurance normally is not acceptable, or we don't really recommend, but at times it so happens that client do tend to take dual insurance, knowing or without knowing. So this would be my answer for that question. Who asked that question? That was a good question. Friend. Done. Okay, I'll wrap it up. Thank you for your time. So if there is anything, again, please do feel free to contact me anytime, or the expert Adnan Khalid as well. He can be your help. All right. Thank you so much.